All right, guys. As promised, I went ahead and pulled up Disney on TD Ameritrade. So if you're following this on TD Ameritrade, I'm going to show you how to find the financial reports. And also, I've opened up a few tabs that are going to help you as far as verifying information, right? Because you don't want to do anything and make any rash decisions without actually verifying information. So without further ado, if you guys are following me on TD Ameritrade or any of the E-Trade or Scottrade platforms, this should be kind of similar as far as finding the reports. All right, so the first thing is you have a summary. Whenever you type in the ticker up here, say Disney is DIS, and it's a New York Stock Exchange stock, and the summary is going to show up on this page, right? This page is going to give you a quick rundown of some of the information we're going to talk about as far as the indicators over here, the strong buy, and then you always have to look at the date. A lot of people see strong buy, but this rating was on May 4th of 2010, right? So we got to find out information for right now, right? Here's some news over here, and you can kind of see some of the news, and the date right here is April 8th for news, and then April 7th, and so forth. But when you want to look at the financial reports, you want to go over to the SEC filing. All right, so the Securities Exchange Commission filings, and you're going to see a lot of numbers and a lot of reports. So a big takeaway is that the number fours are always going to be your insider buys and sells. So you want to look at that because you want to open a couple of those up, see if people are buying in bulk or are they selling in bulk. All right. You have the 8K report, which is that company events, what's going on with the company. And we're going to get into that in another video. But what we're looking for right now is the quarterly financials. And I don't see that on this first page. So you need to go down here to page 2. And we're going to try to see if we find a quarterly financials. And there it is, the 10Q. The 10Q is going to be the quarterly financials, and that was dated February 6th. So we're going to go ahead and open that up. All right, great. All right, so when you open that up, it's that quarterly report. And quarterly report is going to be based on the previous quarter. So you're going to scroll up. There's a lot of data here, and I want to kind of get to what we're really looking for. This first page, talking about their revenue and incomes and stuff like that, that's fine, but most companies might not have this page there. But you will see this page here, which is going to be the consolidated balance sheets. And in this report, the biggest things you want to look for are going to be the cash and cash equivalents, which is going to be this line here, line 3. And I'm going to take it all the way over. And you want to see that the cash this year is more than it was the previous quarter. Okay, so it is $4.6 million. Okay, so and if you look up here, it usually says in millions, in thousands, or so forth. You always want to look that it says millions or thousands, okay? Because if this is just $4,000 on hand, then that wouldn't look too good. So the fact that they have $4.6 million cash and cash equivalents, which means that if they need to liquidate assets and get cash quickly, then they have that much on hand. My rule of thumb is to have at least $10,000 on hand, okay? And that's just me as an investor, been doing this for a while. If you notice companies that have less than $10,000 on hand, then it's more likely that they're not going to be able to position themselves to sell off stock or petition to buy more stock as far as investors go, because we're the shareholders. We dominate that market, okay, with the public. These are the public companies. So at $4.6 million, we're sitting really good. Also, like I said, another thing is that if the price here was lower than the previous quarter, then that's also another indicator, a bad indicator for me, because if the company is not getting more money every quarter and they're actually in a decline, that is actually something that we're going to look at, especially when we look at charts too, okay? So you definitely want to look at cash and cash equivalents. All right. Another one that we want to look for, we're going to keep scrolling down, and what we're going to look for is liabilities. All right, right here you have liabilities and equity. So how much are you paying out as a company? And what we want to do is we want to see if there's long-term debt. All right, long-term debt means that they had to take out a loan or some type of action, and they have to actually pay that back. So that's actually coming out of funds that the shareholders are actually supposed to be getting, okay? So when I look at this, I want to look that the numbers are actually lower than the previous quarter. So right here, We do have a higher number in accounts payable, but that's fine. That just means that there's a lot of employees, things like that, that they're paying out, and subsidiaries maybe. But the current portion of the borrowings, that number is actually lower. If you look here, it's 6 million, and then right here is 6.1. So they did pay down debt, which means they're actually getting a little bit lower as far as borrowings go. That doesn't necessarily mean that a company like this has borrowed or something like that. It could just mean that they position money in different places, like in research and development. I mean, if this is Disney, then they have to put out money for all of the subsidiaries that they own. Um, for example, Lucasfilms or something like that, they'd have to put out money to position themselves in a good spot for that type of endeavor. So you always want to look at, that's my biggest two that I pull away from this, and I can go into more detail. I actually have, inside of the Mastery Trading course, I kind of go into detail about some of these other line items, like the equity line items, and if you continue scrolling, the operating activities and things like that, because this is what it takes the company to operate on a daily almost. This is unaudited, like I said. This is cash flow. You always want to look and see that the cash flow, this number in parentheses means that they're paying out, right? So that means it's a deficit there. That's a deficit, and the deficit should potentially be a little bit lower, unless they are actually using it for research and development or some type of other endeavor where the company, you'll see inside of, you'll actually see this inside of their company notes and company events. All right, I just wanted to do a quick video just to kind of show you what I look for as an investor. Other companies won't be as cut and dry as this one, but I did want to pick out a blue chip because there's going to be more information in these blue chip stocks than, say, the typical penny stocks or any other type of securities that you want to look at. All right, so that summarizes this video. Like I said, once again, you want to look at cash and cash equivalents, and you also want to look at the debt. It's pretty much like the debt to income ratio. You know how when we get our own reports in, as far as the credit reports in, what companies are looking for is our credit to debt ratio. So you should be doing the same when you're looking at a company to possibly invest in. Okay, so 2 rules to take away here. These are my rules personally. You have to have at least $10,000 cash equivalents on hand, and your numbers need to be a little bit bigger in this quarter than the last quarter. That means you're actually making money. I'm going to do another video that's going to actually show you about the charts and things like that. And by all means, if you want to take a stab at the Mastery Trading course, that'll actually go line by line. Okay, so check it out and hit me up and let me know what you guys find. Later.